Hello everyone, my name is Devin, this is my grandpa, and thank you for tuning to my channel, Devin's Mastermind. Grandpa, so okay, Grandpa, here's what we're going to get into today. As you know, we're going to get into like the history of NFL teams, NBA teams, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get into the history of that, and then next up we're going to talk about who was it you wanted to talk about, Bryant Gumbel. As I know, whoever that is, I don't know who that is, but either way, I'll figure out who that is. So either way, let's get into it, Grandpa. So Grandpa, as you know, I remember you asked me this question: who is the youngest NFL team? And as we should all know, it's the Houston Texans, because they only been a team since they first started, which was in 2002. The Tennessee Titans. They used to be called the Houston Oilers. Then they became the Tennessee Oilers for 1 or 2 years, and then they became the Tennessee Titans. So yep. And then, as you know, I don't know if you didn't know this. 2002 was really the year where everything started getting, right in the NFL. Like before, the Seahawks used to be in the AFC. Who else? That was when the NFC South, and I think other franchises became, like teams like back then in the NFC South, you didn't have the NFC South. And then, the Saints, Buccaneers, the Falcons, and the Panthers all became teams and all that. So, yeah. And then next up, I want to get into what else was it we were talking about. Come on, Grandpa, tell me what else we were trying to talk about.
Well, I was starting talking about Brian Gumbel, but I'm not going to waste a whole lot of valuable time on talking about Brian Gumbel once you don't know anything about him. Because you won't be able to keep up with me.
Oh, yes, I do. All I got to do is just look him up. And
right.
Then we'll know.
You won't be able to look him up as we talk now.
But I can't do that now, but I'll do it other time, and then we'll come back and do it.
He was doing that thing on the guy from the Miami Dolphins was the coach, the one that got fired.
Brian Flores.
Yeah, that's his name, Bryant.
Brian Flores, yep.
Okay, well, he was doing the thing on Bryant last night. I just happened to run up on it on TV, and the two lawyers that Bryant had with him, he was asking questions and stuff like that. Like, was he suing the NFL for the money? He told him no, he was not suing the NFL for the money. He was mostly trying to get more black coaches in the NFL than they got now, which they have never had no more than maybe two that he knew of at the time that he was in coaching, which is he's no longer a coach himself.
Yes, he is Brian Flores.
Yeah.
He is. He's not the head coach.
No,
but I heard he was like the defensive coordinator or something for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And how long ago that was?
Before
he got I'm talking about the one from Miami now.
Yeah, I'm talking about Grandpa. He was a head coach for 3 seasons at Miami.
Right.
Then this past, I don't know when, was it like a month or two ago? They said they signed him like something or whatever, the assistant coach or whatever, defensive coordinator, offense coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
Yep.
And that would, that's kind of a little hard for me to understand. At the end of the season, they signed him,
Oh yeah.
For the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that didn't make sense to me. And did he accept it?
Well, yeah. Grandpa, he's the.
See, I didn't keep
Pittsburgh Steelers.
See, that's where I kind of fell down, and didn't keep up with it because I really wasn't satisfied with it. But he got to have a job. Yeah. I know that because he got a family. So After that, I didn't keep up with it anymore. So he's still with them, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Okay, so he does, but he still got this suitcase still pending, and like you said, he's looking out for other guys in the NFL, blacks, to get coaching jobs instead of just being assistant for defense or assistant for a receiver or special teams and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So that's what he's kind of working on. So it's going to be a long, drawn-out thing before they come to a decision and find out, because it's hard, trying to sue the NFL for top-quality jobs and stuff like that, which they probably going to have drag this thing going to be a long time. But he got the two lawyers sticking with him now, and I don't know whether it make any difference or not, why they're being white.
Yep.
And then it may and it may not. I don't know. But the two lawyers had, you know, I didn't look at the thing all the way through last night. But they had some pretty good grounds that they were standing on. They had a lot to say about it themselves. So I got tired of listening to it, so I just flipped the channel to something else.
Oh yeah, and I heard about Hugh Jackson, the former Cleveland Browns head coach. I remember they said he would, because you know the Browns have been one of the worst organizations in football, honestly. Them and the Lions or Jaguars, whoever else you want to put in that category. But either way, I heard that they had said he had paid, or that they had paid him for like money to lose, and that's what of course he had said. But then he had came back and said, "Oh, well, the NFL didn't do that," and I'm just like, well, why would you even bring it up? Like, if you ain't gonna be, if that's what the NFL really did, then just say it. But if it didn't happen, then you should have never brought it up to begin with. Or what you should have done, you just should have said something like, you should have said something different than saying, "Well, the NFL paid me to lose." Because why would they do that? Why would an organization of any football program, franchise, pay to lose?
No.
Like, that's one of the worst things. And if that team should be tanking, or they should not be a team no more in the NFL.
Well, I ain't heard too much about that. Then I was looking at our receiver for the Atlanta Falcons.
Calvin Ridley, I heard.
Betting on the team.
NFL games.
He knew that, but hasn't been proven yet, though. It's been proven that he
It's been proven that he gambled, and now he's going to be that out for a year.
Suspended for?
Yeah, a whole year.
No.
And then, you know, first they say he was dealing with mental health. I think of course, that was the time he had tried to get out. Well, he had did, of course, before, but of course he tried to, I guess, win more money. And now look at him now. He went from looking like a great wide receiver for the next Julio Jones for the Falcons to now looking like a person not playing in the NFL is a bust.
They got grounds. They got grounds now to get rid of him, and that would mean that another team don't even want him either. See?
And then I heard also stuff about. I had heard, like they were talking about on sources. I heard something about Colin Kaepernick playing, possibly coming back. Maybe not possibly, but I'm just saying. I heard them say a little something about maybe him going back to the NFL, and that's what he wants to do. But I'm just like, but then the NFL, of course, they just said if I was calling Kaepernick, I don't know if he did sue the NFL, but I was definitely assuming, because I'm just like, this man, like, I could see this man did some other stuff, but hey, that's just the NFL, but like, he was the one who was trying to like do all this, or trying to like tell us, or change the NFL. Now the NFL does him like dog crap, like he ain't nothing, and then, so it's just like the process there, and now you got stuff with black, like with not the NFL not having enough black coaches. Because if you look at the NBA as a pro basketball thing, as a pro basketball whatever, which I feel like that's more of a sport because we dominate that sport.
Right.
But either way, I'm just saying they got like, it's coach after coach. You had some coaches that were like the assistants for this team, and now they became the new head coach for a new team. And then all that stuff. Now those teams are doing pretty okay. Doing pretty good, and the NBA seems to be fine with that. You don't really hear nothing about that. It's just more so the NFL. College basketball has a few, but they don't have much really. And college football doesn't really have that much either, though. Right. So it's a lot, the process there and stuff. But either way, the NFL. If the NFL keeps on doing whatever they keep on doing, eventually they'll have it where some folks just might quit and not want to have nothing to do with them fans and will want them to keep suing them.
Yeah.
And everything.
They talking about baseball.
Oh yeah, about the MLB being postponed.
Yeah, but I'm going to take a little step farther in baseball with what they say. They want to get them back in and hope some of them will sign up to come on and play, but they don't know why the blacks don't want to get into baseball like they did once before, because, that's a sports where you kind of almost, I couldn't use the word even whites and even blacks, but one time baseball, when it came to blacks, Cuban, and black Americans, I mean, they was kicking the you know what with
Well,
baseball,
that was,
and that's all you could. I could name some of those guys. You wouldn't know them because they no longer around, not playing. But they trying to figure out why is it there are not enough blacks in baseball.
Well, that's because maybe, Grandpa, we should know the answer to that. It's baseball. I mean, I'm not trying to say it, but I'm just saying some people are just not interested and don't want to do it. They don't think it's fun. Yeah, but some folks, but even still, that don't matter. Because you can get paid money, well, not, I wouldn't say anywhere, but you can also still get paid money somewhere else. Maybe get paid, not a lot, but get paid enough. And it's just that folks don't want to do the sport. Folks don't want to do the sport, though.
And they want them. They want the blacks in.
Like I know Jackie Robinson, we all know about Jackie Robinson, the famous Hank Aaron, all of them and all that stuff. But they either way, yeah, they don't want to do it, and that's what. And if that's what happens, I think
it's going to open up a little bit now. I really do. I think it's going to open up. They got the word, and they began to try and kind of float in. And you know, Cubans love baseball. Mm-hmm. The United States was full of Cubans, going all the way back when Atlanta won the first World Series, and actually before then, because you know, professional baseball has got a name when they made the movie when the blacks had their own professional baseball team, and I have to sit and talk with you about this one day when, not getting off the subject of me and you sitting here talking about it now, but once upon a time when I was a kid coming up and looking at the grown up had their own teams down here in the South where they would travel and go from town to town playing baseball against another team. That thing was popular. Yeah. There wasn't no big money in it because it was the Negro League and stuff like that. You might have saw it. And if it ever come on again, I'll still be around. Get around.
I know about it.
That thing wasn't a whole lot of money stuff in it. We were just competing. But they made some money, but it was just competing, and they lived in, they had to deal with living in this hotel, living in that hotel, and then most of the time they couldn't live in the hotel. They would sleep in the bus or in the cars and stuff like that. Old broke down buses, fixing them on the road when they broke down. Go to the back of the restaurant, wherever they stopped to get some food and stuff like that, and they made movies out of it. And but they had what was it there? Bingo. The movie stars played in it. Some of the movie stars that still live in there made that movie, and it was the Bingo something like that. But that was it was a nice movie. What's his name? Denzel was in it.
Denzel Washington.
Yeah, and who else was in it? Billy Dee Williams was in it, and Richard Pryor was in it, and as you know, there was a lot more in it, and it was a good movie. And what's his name? He dead now. The one that did he have a speech problem? What killed him? They showed some. Anyway, I can't name them all, but that was a start right there. And they had their own thing like that, and it grew. And Satchel Paige, and I just hope to God I can find his card at home. I had his card. Now I got some money in my pocket, and I told Paul if she ever sweep the floor or something, run up on that card, you do not do anything with it, but lay it somewhere and tell me about it when I get there. Because that card is worth some money. Do you know they paid $2 million for what's called a card back here last month? Basketball player that died in the helicopter, him and his daughter.
Oh, Gumbel-Brian?
Paid $2 million for his card.
That's right.
Yeah.
$2 million. So if I found that Satchel Paige was one of the black pitchers that pitched in baseball, they said he was so good at pitching, they wanted him to come and play for the National Baseball League just to see how good he was. But they didn't recognize him. Guess what? He struck him out just like somebody was cutting down.
Was it Fences?
Who was that?
Was Denzel Washington in it?
Well, yeah, and I can't think of the name of Richard Pryor was in it too. I think Danny Glover? No, Danny Glover wasn't in it, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know honestly. I don't think he was in the movie.
Denzel Washington. I said, I know Oh, he was in it.
Fences.
You might have been it.
This is the movie Fences.
Yeah. And
All right.
Richard Pryor was in it.
Because he played Troy Maxon.
Yeah. And it was the Negro League.
Mm-hmm.
We had one right here in Clark County. Yeah. They had one. But Henry Johnson, Babe Davis, these guys I know when I was coming up. Henry Johnson, man, I worked with him. His brother was Ferris T. Johnson, the principal out at Lions School, which is out there with the airport.
Mm-hmm.
See, I be tell y'all, these folks at work, and I ain't no smart person as far as education wise, but I know some stuff.
Yes, my daddy is.
I know some stuff, and
Well, yeah.
but it's a lot. It's a lot that I could tell you. And some stuff, I can talk to you about then. But I have had students at the University of Georgia ask me was I born and raised in this town here. And I tell them, they said, well, you mind if we talk to you about stuff back in the day? I said, no, I don't mind.
Well, of course, they should, because of course, you're the one, who knows about everything.
Does he know about Sister G?
You know about Sister Jean, the 101 2-year-old nun that for a Loyola Chicago Ramblers basketball team?
I heard
Sister
a little
Jean.
bit. I heard a little bit about it. See, I can tell you something about basketball. It didn't start and founded in the United States.
Yes, but found in all different countries. But I also remember, I didn't know this until I read this some other day. The Harlem Globetrotters that you had talking about a while back in one of our episodes, they were founded in 1926, but they were a black organization in Harlem, New York. Because the NBA's only been out for 75 years. Back in 1946, when they were, of course, founded in New York, but I also know the Harlem Globetrotters were a team back in the right when the Great Depression and all that stuff was there.
They made 2 movies.
The ABA, whatever.
And I wish I had them get my hand removed. Guess who was their coach? The Harlem Globetrotters. White fellow was their coach, and he owned them. And they really didn't need no coach. He didn't have to coach them.
Yeah, that's who famous Wilt Chamberlain played for.
He didn't have to coach them.
Because Wilt Chamberlain was one of the great basketball players of all time.
Yeah.
When he played, for Kansas, he did pretty good there, and then he became one of the best NBA players, I think, with the Warriors. Or the Philadelphia Warriors, because before the Golden State Warriors, they were also called the Philadelphia Warriors. And just like you had the Lakers, they used to be called the Minnesota Lakers or whatever. So, that's a lot. Either way, famous Wilt Chamberlain, the one who scored, of course, 100 in a game, and hasn't been here for the past 23 years, because he fortunately died in 1999. So rest in peace to him. He's still one of the best basketball players of all time. I don't care what nobody says, but either way, because he's 7 feet. So he's probably him, and of course Bill Russell. Bill Russell is way better than Wilt Chamberlain. But either way, those are 2 Hall of Famers. But either way, as we all know, Wilt Chamberlain was, of course, a famous player with the Harlem Globetrotters, and they retired his number, just like the Kansas basketball team did. So either way, shout out to Wilt Chamberlain.
See, that kind of stuff I like to hear you when you say he played with the Harlem Globetrotters. A lot of people didn't know that. A lot of people didn't know that. But the first thing, when you say Harlem Globetrotters, whose first name comes to it? Mellow. But Mellow is not the original Globetrotters. The original Globetrotters, you have to see the movie. Black and white movie, made back in the
40s, 50s?
No, 40s if I'm mistaken. I saw both of them. I'll be waiting for them to show. And if they come back in the 40s, made in the 40s, you want to get your hands on them. You be looking for them on Black History in February, but they don't show them. But if you can find them somewhere, or you can order them when you find them, get them. There's 2 of them was made. Dane Clark was one of the movie stars that did one of them. The other guy, he was a white guy, Dane Clark. The other guy, told him like, might be done found it.
I'll give it to you.
1951 sports. It might be it, but I thought, yeah, one of them might, yeah, it's close enough. But Dane Clark was a movie star, was the coach and the owner of one of them, because they didn't need no coaching. The reason they didn't need no coaching, because they beat you by clowning in the movie. They clown a lot. Yeah. They dribble all through their legs, all around.
That's crossover and all that.
Yeah, they the most clowning team. Oh, it was. Now, they got a woman with them now. Okay. They got a woman with the first lady. Most of the original ones, they all done passed away. I think Curly was the last one that passed away, which was, about 2 years ago. I heard it on the radio. Let me see. It's called Chamberlain, Wilt the Stip.
Well, thank you to my channel. Talk next time. Love y'all. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for whoever else, everybody who supports me in my life. Yeah, that's it. Bye.
Thank you.